Hey, this is the franchise Shane Douglas, ECW's original World Heavyweight Champion. Right now, you're watching the #1 wrestling podcast on all of Long Island, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh. Monty and the Pharaoh.
The Monty and Pharaoh Show.
And you're watching the Monty and Pharaoh Show.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
With Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
It's Monty and the Pharaoh.
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 Monty and Pharaoh.
It's Monty and the Pharaoh.
And Monty and the Pharaoh. Oh, is it Monty and the Pharaoh?
Monty and Pharaoh.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
To the Monty and the Pharaoh Show. And it's Monty and the Pharaoh, baby.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
With Monty and the Pharaoh. Monty and the Pharaoh. Oh, what a run.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey, cut music. When you want the best in professional wrestling, Long Island, there's only one place you're going to get it, right here.
Monty and the Pharaoh. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best. That, my friends, is just incredible. Monty and the Pharaoh.
You've got the future Hall of Famer, that rocker, Marty Jannetty, and MJ in the house, and I'm sitting here with two more future Hall of Famers, Monty and the Pharaoh. We're doing that stuff, and we're going to rock it.
I want to thank you, Sandman, for coming in.
This is easily the funnest interview I've ever done.
Oh, my God, look at putting us over.
Usually it's guys that just like sit there.
Straight to the top. We're living this life, not just dreaming it, we're doing it for it. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to leave out that tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sandman.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Hey!
Yeah.
I'll do my Raven. Nevermore. What do you got, Mike?
All right, let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
Your controversy about women's wrestling.
Nice.
What's the deal, bro?
Awesome.
Okay,
by the
dude.
way.
I don't know. I didn't know nobody's name. I don't care. I could know you for like 15 years, but I really don't know your name. Maybe I might know your wrestling name, but not your real name. So I think I'm talking to. I'm working the room right here because it's great down there. There's so many wrestlers. You had a long day up there signing. So I'm drinking some beers and I'm having fun. So I'm walking by. I don't even know who Tess Blanchard is.
Tessa Blanchard.
I don't watch wrestling. I had no clue who she even was. She's just standing there. So I walk up to the blonde chick that I'm pretty sure is Johnny Morrison's girl. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Was she in that match?
Taya, you're talking. Yes,
Okay, is that
yes,
Morrison's girl?
yes.
All right, so I'm just going by her because I like you because I like her. I like the way she works. I like her attitude in the ring. I always try and give her little pointers, because he's probably doing a lot, but some people need to hear a little bit of something from somebody else. You know what I mean? So I'm walking by. I'm like, hey, what number are you? What number are you tonight? Because I want to watch. She goes, we're last. I was like, in a Maine? I said, didn't something just happen with Ronda Rousey getting f***ed into Vince put her in the Maine, but I think it was a job or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it or anything, but I just heard something like that. I said that to her, and what's her name? The girl that I didn't know at all. No, the freaking the Tessa. Yeah.
Oh, Tessa.
Yeah. So Tessa's right on me right there. She goes, who the f*** is Ronda Rousey? Her exact words ended about that level. I was like, one, I don't even know who you are, and two, you got some balls saying that loud to me. You know what I mean? And the other girl wasn't even there. There was another girl there, the short, stocky one that said so. That girl was not right there, right then. I don't care what the she says.
Okay.
She was not there. There was three of us. That was it, and we're close. We're like the blonde chick's here, the Tess chick's here. Dude, and Tess is pissed. I don't know that she's working guys in main events or anything like that. And I told her, I said, listen, all I know is I don't think it should be Dude, to me, you can't have a 6'8", 270-pound dude slapping around a 130-pound chick.
Let's go back to the beginning with you. How do you start in the game of professional wrestling?
4 years old, always wanted to be a professional wrestler. Didn't want to be a doctor, lawyer, cop. I wanted to be a pro wrestler, so I got to live my life's dream, and how many people get to do that? Gorilla Monsoon has thrown me out of the Philadelphia Spectrum 2 times. This is what I did. Back in the day, security was the The guys didn't even have, like, they were just guys in regular clothes. It's Andre the Giant against Big John Studd's steel cage.
Hello.
At the spec. I don't know what year it is. Okay. So, but I'm like 16, so I guess it's like 79 maybe or something like that. And so I just get in line. The guys didn't bring the whole cage up there, didn't come down. They just had it and had to carry the thing, like from where the Zamboni would come through, they had to carry through the people. I just went and got in the back of the line, picked up a piece of, I'm drunk, dude. I'm drunk, like drunk. That was my getting drunk. Me and my boy, me and my buddy Ruben, and going to the matches. So I go to hand my piece to the thing, and then whoa, almost dropped it on the. Dude, I'm drunk right here. So I get the cage out of my hands, and I go back, and I'm like, I'm getting under the ring to see if there's a spring under there. Because I didn't know then, you know what I mean? I got under the ring, and it was.
What is this guy doing?
I swear to God, it must have felt like I was under there for like 10 minutes, which was probably more like maybe 15, 30 seconds, but I was just like, oh my God, there is a spring underneath the ring. Superfly Snooker's on the way to the ring. Dude, I got blonde hair down the fucking here, like bleach blonde hair. I'm feeling myself. I'm like 18. But I like Snooker. I was faced. So Snooker, so it was kind of just like being at the arena, you know what I mean? Where they have guardrails and you walk in there. Snooker goes by and I keep trying to stand up. Snooker walks by and I slap the shit out of him on his back. He turns around, grabs me by the hair, starts pulling me over the guardrail. Here comes Gorilla Monsoon. The like 3-4 security guards are in between us. Swear, totally true. Gorilla grabs me like this, like a Mark Henry. Picks me up with like one hand because Gorilla's a big here. You know what I mean? Yeah. He takes me through the back, which wasn't far because the building wasn't that big. Presses a button, the garage door goes up. Kicks me out. So I'm waiting outside for my buddy to come out. I walk around the front. He goes, dude, I thought he was going to kill you. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, Superfly went in the ring, headbutted him, went to the top rope, finished him off, and went running back for me.
Fine you.
I didn't even know what an indie show was. You have to understand, I didn't have cable in Philadelphia or anything. All I knew was WWE and the magazines that I could read about.
Exactly what it is.
Sandman, I want to jump ahead. Tommy Dreamer on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast said that you pretty much OD'd in Milwaukee and died.
Whoa.
And then
it wasn't Milwaukee, it was Indianapolis.
All right.
It's got the wrong city. You got to understand, this was like crazy days with the pills. We had like rolling different doctors, getting 80 Oxycontin 80s from this guy. I'm like, why he's raving? It was like the second or third time that he'd been sitting in the stall. So I look over the stall and he's fucking shooting. I'm like, what the are you shooting? He goes, I'm shooting an Oxy. I'm like, I got to try it. So he told me, do not shoot an 80. I'm like, dude, I'm snorting like 5 80s a day right now and an 8-ball. And fucking, you think I'm worried about shooting 180? So I shoot the 80, get in the car, pass right the out, coming back in the next day. So these guys are driving down the road. Whoever calls fucking needle to the heart, take me to the hospital. I wake up at like 2 in the morning. Wake up 2 in the morning. I'm like, whoa, what a story.
how was it working with your wife? Was that a pain in the ass, or was it
Dude,
good?
I was so young. I was like, you know what I'm saying? You just don't even know because you don't even know better because you've never done it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was fine.
Okay.
I liked it. Her and my son Tyler, my oldest son, they would come down. They would take the hour drive down into Philly for me to go to wrestling school every night and the hour back with me.
How about your opinion on Paul Heyman, if I can get one?
Dude, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for fucking him, dude. My brother was like Paul Heyman. He believed his own shit. Mm-hmm. He couldn't tell the truth. So I knew Paul Heyman before it was my brother, you know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't care. The guy was putting me over, coming up with great ideas and like that, dude. My career's taking the It worked out in the end. I had some money saved, so.
How is your relationship with Heyman now?
We don't have one.
Not at all.
I can't even remember the last time I talked to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Haven't spoken
I
to
don't
him in
know.
a
I'm
long
stupid, though, dude. I could have talked to him a year ago, but I just wouldn't remember it. But I don't think so. Probably, I don't know. Was he there in 2008 when I left WWE? I guess that would have been the last time. She goes to throw the powder, but you have to have powder mixed with 50% salt or 50% sugar, or it's not flying anywhere. You know what I mean? We didn't know that back then. You know what I mean? So she threw it, it went nowhere, and Morocco goes like this. There's like a puff. Morocco
He runs into
I can't stand up. Morocco like takes a step forward and goes, and then falls back.
That's hilarious.
How did you develop the Sandman gimmick and in-ring approach, and did Todd have much to do with that?
Well, yeah, Todd took me from the surfer thing to him saying to Paul, because Paul didn't believe in me at first, and he was like, you know, Todd told me, he goes, Paul's like, hey, I know he's your boy, but he ain't got it. Well, and then Todd's like, well, no, just let him go out there and be him. And next thing you know, it's the beer, it's the cigarette, Nancy, bam, it's off to the races then.
You mentioned Nancy. Thoughts on Nancy and
I
Chris
loved her, man.
Benoit?
She taught me so much. Freaking Nancy taught. Well, because you got to understand, Kevin Sullivan's going to take the book down in freaking WCW or whatever. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, WCW. And he goes to me, pulls me aside. He goes, listen, I'm leaving my wife and she's going to start coming out with you. And he gave me a couple pieces of advice. He said something like, he goes, dude, promoters will love you because you could get over, you can lose every single night of the week and get over more than the guy that beat you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, love it. And that's why me and Dreamer would fight over who would win, dude. I've literally lost like 80, maybe even more than 80% of my matches. I would never win, ever. Because you're working with Sabu. He don't want to do a job. He don't want to do a job for you.
What were your thoughts when you heard about what Benoit?
Dude, obviously I was f***ing shocked.
Okay.
Dude. Yeah, I liked Chris a lot. I mean, everybody liked Chris, but, you know, it happens.
Were you surprised? Did you see anything coming that way? Like, you know, just out of the blue?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You obviously watched the entire transformation of Eastern Championship Wrestling to Extreme Championship Wrestling. Did you know at the time what sort of impact this company would ultimately have?
No, dude, I would have appreciated it more and I would have treasured it more if I did. You know what I'm saying? We're just rock starring it the out. You know what I mean? Straight rock stars, dude.
Sure.
That's how we are. You know, you're not thinking about how, you know, what your place is, but I'll tell you what, I do remember when we started making Japanese magazines and I was like, all right, dude, we got something here.
Something's
you know
going
what
on.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You held ECW Tag Gold with our good buddy Too Cold Scorpio. I wanted to get your thoughts on tag wrestling versus one-on-one competition. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, probably one-on-one more than tag, especially the way tags are being done now. Where there's like 8,000 moves, nobody sells anything.
You don't even have to tag in AEW.
Dude, I didn't even notice that when I watched.
We were talking about Vince being scared. Do you think that whole
Vince
crucifixion?
wasn't scared. Dude, he had Paulie in his pocket the whole time, way earlier than anybody even knew.
Right, right.
What did you feel about the crucifixion angle?
Dude, I loved it. What are you kidding
Do it
me?
again!
I made it. I made the cross, dude. You know the
Really?
dude. You know the freaking who was it? The scaffold match with Dreamer on the chains swinging. I built that whole thing and put it up there myself. So the cross thing, we get back in. We come back through the curtain. I'm loving it. Everybody's just like standing there like that. And I don't even know who the f***ing Kurt Angle is.
That's what I was about to ask you. Like,
I
you're
don't
like,
even know who the f***ing dude is. I guarantee you Kurt Angle didn't go up to f***ing Vince and say anything when The Undertaker put f***ing what's his name on it 6 months later.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cross.
It's a really good point.
However they made it look all nice.
Yeah,
but
good point.
You think Kurt went to Vince that night? Nah.
No. Your second reign as ECW champ, you suffer a concussion against Cactus Jack. Any memories of that incident?
Well, no, I was concussed.
There it is!
Wham! Hello!
Did I word it this way? I set myself up! This is terrible! What the hell, Sal?
That's hilarious!
Go ahead! Hey, pass that pen! Anyway, this is terrible. All right, when you did come to, did anybody tell you about what you should remember?
No,
How's that sound?
I came to, and the only reason I remember this is because my wife was there.
Oh, that's
I
even
came
worse.
to in hospital at like 10 a.m. the next morning. The guy asked me who the president was, what state I was in, and something else. Got all three of them wrong. He goes, go back to sleep.
Stay there. How about conviction to your craft, right? You get blinded by Tommy Dreamer. So the rumor is that you pretty much hide in your apartment, and so people.
No, dude, you have to understand something. Not everybody had a fucking phone in their pocket, and there wasn't TMZ News, and there fucking wasn't all the shit. Call me. Todd calls me and says, "Paulie wants you up at the studio immediately." I roll into the studio, and he knew that I knew about world affairs and I liked politics. Everybody always knew that. He goes, "You're going to start carrying a cane." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you know the kid this and that." He goes, "Trust me, it's going to be hot." I said, "So how are we going to get a cane?" By this time, we like walked out, so we're outside, we're standing under a tree. I said, "Well, what are we going to use as a cane?" He's like, looks up at the tree, rips a branch out, pulls all the small shit off. He goes, "Here, use this for now."
Here's your cane.
And we actually used a piece of a tree that just happened to be a couple feet away from us. And I forget the promo that I cut or whatever, but it was great, dude. And then I knew how to get this thing. I'm like, obviously, I'm not going to the ring freaking with a stick. You know what I mean? And I had saw like a video or something of Tojo Yamamoto using one in like Memphis at some time, and I'm like, I got to go find one of those things.
Thoughts on Raven as a wrestler and where he ranks as some of the great wrestlers?
That dude is fucking brilliant.
Do you feel he's underrated? Because I think he's a little underrated. By
yeah, totally. Dude, you gotta understand, he was young, and he was what was that show that was on Saturdays? He's like 18 years old and running one of Vince's fucking, he's a producer on a show like that. And then when he got, I didn't know what a false finish was until me and him started working together. That then just this, dude, we used to do like literally 100 spots in a row. We'd have, me and the Meanie would do this, and then I'd do something to Rave, and then here comes Stevie for this. I'd do something to, here comes Peaches, then do something. We'd do like 3 sets of that in like a half-hour match, dude. Elaborate, dude. It was good. Everybody had great time, and yeah, so yeah, I would say underrated. Unless you know him, then you're like, he's a.
I was going to ask if you still speak with him now.
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, this guy's cool.
Tell us about your memories of when, you mentioned earlier, when Vince crossed over with Paul, the crossover promotion deal. Do you remember some stuff about that?
I don't know. You have to give me a match. You'd have to tell me like a match, and that's the only way I would know.
Well, one thing you did reveal was basically Vince had Paul from the get-go. To the fans at home, we thought it was a competition.
The only reason I found that out is because there's that the guy that's suing him about getting a bunch of wrestlers for the head injuries or something. I'm like, no thanks. I want to try and get maybe the Hall of Fame someday. You hear that one?
Yeah, well,
I don't want to see you sue him. You ain't getting in the Hall of Fame. That's it.
Right.
So and then I ended up like a year ago.
Logical.
A year ago, I asked. I was talking to Sabu about it because I knew he was part of it. And then he was the one that told me, like, I'll say here, but it could have been 6 months ago or whatever it was. But he was the one that the lawyer found out that those two, that's the only reason why he could sue him for back. Because Sabu didn't do it, all his shit happened. He wasn't doing like the total Sabu thing in the version that we were doing up there. You know what I mean? It wasn't as crazy. But yeah, those, I think he said 95 maybe.
Lanny Poffo was in studio. I know you have experience with Bam Bam Bigelow. Lanny was not a big fan of Bam Bam. Your relation?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I love Bam Bam. I love working with him. Never touched me. Bam was the best, dude. And he rolled the best joints too, dude. The size of your finger.
I like him already.
Bam was great.
I like him fine. He sounds
Loved
great.
working with him, dude. He was so easy. I mean, we're doing all this hard. But he was the lightest one out of all of them. The biggest, but the lightest. Main event, he walked Lawrence Taylor through pretty much a main event like that. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty good. And, you know, that's pretty freaking good, dude. Bam was the best.
So you transitioned to WCW. Is that like a culture shock to you at this point? Because you kind of go a little corporate, right?
Well, yeah, but I knew what to expect because I had buddies there. You know what I mean? I knew to expect nothing.
Right.
And, dude, I'm along for the ride. They were paying me $5,000 a week for 6 months before I even worked for them. I did about 30 matches for them, and then they paid me the rest of my 3-year contract.
Wow.
I forgot to turn it off.
Who came up? What?
Yeah.
How sharp?
Because you got to understand, that's the year they went under. They lost all that $70 million. I just got lost in the shuffle, dude. I only worked for them for one. I signed on September 9th. Was gone like by September 11th, like the next year. Was back in ECW like October 28th. But and you're only supposed to get paid for 90 days, dude. They paid me the rest of the contract. So I'm getting paid like $4,000, $3,500 for Paulie and $5,000 for them for a year and a half or whatever it was.
Who comes up with hack?
Me. That's
You
my,
came
well,
up
no,
with Hack?
it's my brother.
Okay.
When I was like, playing basketball when we were kids, I ended up being Hack, dude. My kids call me Hack, dude. My parents call me Hack. I've had that nickname since I was very, very, very young.
Okay.
They don't want to use. They pull me into this room, just like we're all sitting here. There's Bischoff, there's Dusty, but this is when Dusty gave me the fake barbed wire. And then Nash is in there. He just got the book, and they're like, "Dude, I told him I own Sandman, right? There's a reason why Vince doesn't have. There's a reason I have. Paulie tried to get it from me once. He tried to sleaze me, and I found out about it. It's all good.
Wow.
Because he filed after I did, and
Really
I didn't
now?
know about it until I'm pretty sure Todd might have found out. Todd had something to do with it. Well, there's a Sandman concrete company in California that we're worried about.
Yeah.
I said, dude, I'm the Sandman wrestler. You are lawyers. How do you not understand this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Did Metallica at any point have anything to say about the entrance?
Yeah, I'll tell you that story too. So
I can hear Lars screaming.
So
Lars
it was either me or Dusty was like, well, oh no, I'm pretty sure it was me. I was like, well, why don't you let me go out there and they don't know who I am and I'll take over the show because I knew I was wrestling. This is 10 minutes before I'm going to the ring, and that's how it was every Monday night for 11 straight. You know, I wouldn't know anything until right before we were going to the ring. And so the next week I go out there, they don't know who I am. I call out Bigelow and whatever. So the next week I'm in the hallway. Nash is walking by me. He goes, dude, you know they're not giving up the Sandman thing. He goes, what do you want to be called? I said, Hack. He goes, great. Kept walking.
Go.
That's how fast it was.
Interesting.
It was like less than 10 seconds.
Tell us the Metallica story.
I heard this one from Dreamer. That Metallica offered, and like when they came out with the whatever album, dude, I don't listen to them. I don't like the heavy metal. I love my
Black
song,
Album.
but whenever they was that like 94, 95?
91.
Okay, well, they offered to play at one of the WrestleManias, and Vince was heard saying, "Who the f is Metallica?"
Yeah, okay,
So,
Vince, whoops.
when they went to buy my music, to use my music for my entrance, what's his name was like, they give them. And that's why I had to come out to something else.
Oh, man.
The ECW as a whole, do you think there's a possibility that the WWE introducts you guys as a whole entire group?
If that's going to happen, then I would figure that would be the way.
Justin, you're shaking your head no. Why?
When they have nobody else to put in.
If it's a collective, but the collective won't be the real ECW guys. It'll be Dreamer, Heyman, blah. You know what I mean?
All right.
It'll be fake ECW, anyways.
I gotcha.
It's like
Even the Hall of Fame, it'll be fake.
2006 ECW. In my opinion.
How about your thoughts on that? The 2006 when Vince brought back ECW.
Dude, that was good. I made 389,000 a year.
How about the zombie?
389. 389.
Dude, I was fucking. Dude, you got 75,000 just to be on the video game that year, because that's when they went to all the systems.
Oh my God.
Everybody got a $75,000 check for the video game.
Why don't you guys fix Kamala's
I did
legs?
2 moves
I'm
in
so
WrestleMania
confused.
and got paid 40,000 for that.
Wow.
Just between those two things, that was over.
So
100.
that all being said,
All 8 of us.
making that kind of scratch, do you think Vince owes you guys an extra living beyond your career now?
Vince don't owe me.
Well, they're
He
takes
don't
care
owe
of
me
that.
anything.
Well, you know, you got people out there saying
Doesn't
that.
matter. I call my own shots in life. He gave me an opportunity. Thank you, dude.
Are you set
Give me
for
another one.
Are you set for life now? Are you set?
No, dude. I've blown a lot of money in my life. I'm good.
What does Sandman blow his $389,000
Oh,
on?
kid's house, dude. I had a house in Salt Lake City then. I had $9,000 of bills a month. I had a house in Philly, suburbs of Philly, a house in Salt Lake City because I had a concrete company in Salt Lake City, and then I had a house across the bay from Hogan's in Clearwater.
Wow.
The kids, freaking, dude, we lived at Disney World because the schools sucked down in Florida, so I'm just like, let's go. Busch Gardens was 5 minutes away from the house. Dude, you blow it on kids.
Thoughts real fast on Rob Van Dam's impact on wrestling, and especially the way you see today's wrestlers flipping and flying all over the place. Thoughts on RVD's
Van Dam's
impact?
guy, he's like one of those innovator dudes, you know what I'm saying? With like the Van Dam lift and dude, and he'll kick your head off from like anywhere, anytime. But he's a very good friend of mine. In fact, I was just texting him something the other night because I was thinking about starting a company and calling it like a Samboy thing, and he actually made that up. Rob used to call me Samboy. So I'm texting him, I'm drunk again. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm drunk
let me
again.
tell you how this works.
Oh, we're gonna get the actual text.
We can actually pull up the text.
This is actually
8:02 p.m. I was drunk. I thought it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Dude, you used to call me Sandboy, so I can't say it was my idea, but I'm going to name a new company of mine Sandboy. Are we okay, or do I owe you money for the idea? He sends me back with one of his emojis. I think we're good. I say lovely. Then he texts me back at 1:20 a.m. in the morning. Miss you, bro. Love you. With one of those emoji things.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I love RVD, man. He spiritually, he was the one that he told me a lot.
You have a lot of respect for the business and the people you work with, it seems, right?
Well, yeah, dude. Good. Then you wouldn't have respect for yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that came from nothing to do this, and it's because they loved it. It's not the guys that were football players and then they couldn't make it in the NFL and they're like, oh, let me be a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? These guys freaking lived, eat, breathe 24 hours a day for years and years and years. So you gotta respect it. Because I know I did.
I want to thank again Shane Douglas, just incredible, and I want to thank you, Sandman, for coming in.
This is easily the funnest interview I've ever done.
Oh my God! Look at putting us over.
Usually it's guys that just like sit there.
Well, let me ask you a quick question.
Like a Howard Stern.
Let me ask you this.
Where it goes.
Let me ask you this question. In 1995, you put an armbar on Raven. What was your feeling at that moment?
Nerd! Shut up! Oy. Dude, I don't think I put an armbar on anybody.
I've never seen you put an armbar on anybody.
No, honestly, this has been our honor. You guys have made a difference in wrestling. The fans still love you, and I do believe the WWE will recognize what you all have done for this business. Again, we are honored to have you guys on our show. And Sandman, that was a great interview, and I appreciate everything.
Thank you for being with us.